I don't know why he asked you to boo us. I'd rather you wouldn't, actually. Thanks. Okay.
I've been booed enough today already.
I know. I think once is definitely enough. But yeah, emote, wave, laugh, whatever you want to do. So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us here today. My name is Jacqui, and I'm the editor of Marketing Beat, which is a free marketing publication. So if you don't already get it, you definitely should have a look. We're continuing today's activity by taking a closer look at what we have termed the attention deficit. So we all know that simple views are not enough to capture meaningful attention, and that ads need to make a real impact if they're going to have any sort of measurable effect on their audience. But with so much noise out there, how can brands identify the best way to get their businesses seen? So we're going to be picking apart what attention really means by looking at different types of campaign, from shock marketing to long-term strategic brand building, the measurable effects of these, and why marketers ultimately need to make room for both. So joining me to help make sense of it all are Rory and Dom, who will be helping us look at the importance of attention and the crucial part it has to play in ensuring that a piece of reactive, stunt or shock marketing is able to make that leap from impact to engagement. So thank you both for joining us today. We'll kick things off with you, Rory. Gymbox is really well known for its attention-grabbing and provocative approach to marketing, with campaigns that call out the competition, disrupt the market, and generally make a bit of noise. Last year was particularly notable for you after a fake ad caused a little bit of a stir. So for anyone here who doesn't already know the Gymbox story, could you explain what happened when you mocked up an aerial arts advert for the top of a London bus?
Yes, I'm never really sure how this kind of bus advert goes down. Some people love it, some people hate it. I'll just give you the background very quickly because it was a little bit of a mistake, to be honest. We weren't actually trying to get so much attention. The idea, if anyone hasn't seen it, was we run aerial classes at Gymbox, which you're hanging suspended from a ceiling, so from a trapeze or a silk. So we wanted to promote these classes, and we had this idea about advertising from somewhere high up looking down as a kind of fun Gymbox way to do it. So we had the idea of mocking up or advertising on top of a bus. So like any kind of planning concept, we actually mocked it up with our designer to make sure it looked kind of how we wanted to do it. Now the ad said, if you're reading this, you're a natural. Aerial classes now at Gymbox. So we mocked it up, we thought it was great, and then realized very quickly that media space isn't available. It was something we couldn't do. So
when you say it wasn't available, is that the top of London buses is not available? You can't put ads there?
You can advertise on top of London buses.
TfL were quite definite about that, weren't they?
Correct. They were very, they were very definite about it.
Especially for you.
Yeah, especially for me. So what we did was, we thought the idea was so good, we decided to push it out anyway. It was a time when Maybelline, eyelash, CGI was coming out, a few other kind of fake ads were surfacing. So we just thought, let's jump on the trend, let's push this advert out as if it's real, and just see what the response is. And the response was brilliant for a couple of days. Everybody was kind of commending Gymbox on this groundbreaking media placement advert. Got lots of great PR. And then 3 days later, people were emailing me going, did this really happen? This didn't happen. TfL have denied that it's happened, et cetera, et cetera. And we just kind of leaned into it. We just kind of saw the opportunity for getting additional coverage, a little PR. Was it real? Was it not real? We kind of went a little quiet. We went underground for a little while, which was a tactic. And it's probably been, in my 6 years at Gymbox, probably one of our most successful, depending on your definition of success, campaigns that we never did. And one thing I just want to clarify, though, because people talk quite a lot about just Gymbox getting attention and PR for the sake of getting PR, but actually, behind everything we do, you may not notice it, but there is a business reason why we do it. Aerial classes needed a bit of a kind of a jump start for our business. So there was a reason why we did this stunt. And on the back of it, we were getting hammered by lots of marketing publications, which I didn't care about, actually. I talk about being beige.
Not us.
No, not us. You guys were very supportive, very supportive. And you got the exclusive on it too, actually. But the point is, actually, we saw the searches for Gymbox aerial classes increased by about 400% or 500%. Our sales had never been higher for actually people booking on the classes. So there was a real business reason for doing it. So we were just taking the punches while everybody was critiquing our marketing, but actually it was delivering business results.
And what I love about that is it's also building your brand, right? It's not giving all those classes to your competitors. It's linking back to your business and your brand and building the experience that people will have, right? So there is a value to the thing. It's not just attention for attention's sake.
Exactly. As I say, people look at it on the outside, but even for the category, we were building awareness with the fitness category with exciting marketing. But it very much plays into our brand and what we kind of do. But there was a real reason for doing it.
From your perspective, Dom, and obviously we know Kantar does a huge amount of work around attention. How much of the success of that particular campaign was down to attention? And also, circling back, we've spoken before today, and you've said that not all attention is created equally. So can you explain exactly what you mean by that as well?
I certainly got a double-headed question. Okay, so look, but to answer the first bit of our question, at Kantar, we believe in brands, in building brands and the value of brands, because that's what drives sustainable business performance, and the strongest brands outperform other businesses. And so what I love about your example is that actually the activity, in this case, let's call it attention. I'm not entirely sure if it was attention or not, but let's call it attention. I mean, we are on the attention stage. So it has linked hard to your business, and through the experiences people will have of coming to your classes, it will be building your brand too. So I love that. To your second part of your question about what the hell is attention, and why is not all attention created equal? So at Kantar, we believe attention is divided into active attention and passive attention. So passive attention is just viewability, when you watch something all the way through. But active is actually when you're much more engaged with it. So it's about with your facial coding, it's the expressions on your face, and your smileability, if you like. So what we see is there is a real, this matters. It matters a lot because there is an attention emergency playing out at the moment, and we'll come on to that in a second. But what we see is for active attention, so the stuff where your face lights up, and you can see this through facial coding, and is almost double as effective as passive when you're just watching.
Okay.
But here's the thing. There's something that's 4 times more powerful than active or passive attention. And that's just bloody good brand building communications, which have emotion, which have persuasion, and which have brand linkage. And they deliver 4 times the business impact. If you have those, you'll deliver 4 times the short-term business impact. So it's basically says that attention's great. Who wouldn't want a good dollop of active attention? But it's not enough, not nearly enough. And actually, if you can link that attention to your brand, you'll do so much better. But because it's more emotional, and when people have that emotional pull, they have better recollection of your brand, and they have better associations of your brand, and they have better recall of it, and all of that is what drives short and longer term sort of purchasing, essentially. So you'd be crazy not to want that in your business.
So where does, so as we say, sort of shock marketing or reactive marketing, or the sort of thing that Rory has done, where you're moving things very quickly, how does that play into the brand building side of things?
So I think it depends a little bit on the brand and the context. It depends a little bit on how much budget you've got to play with. Not everyone can afford, a good old-fashioned 90-second telly spot or whatever. The world has moved on a long way. What I would say is that when you have attention, emotionally driven, active attention campaigns are more likely to get impact and cut through. They're also more, when you do it, when they are well constructed and linked to the brand, they have better brand recall too, right? So the more emotional stuff you have links to your brand. So I'd sort of say there is a watch out. If you focus on only doing stunts, and let's define, for this bit of a conversation, define attention as stunts, which I don't think attention is, but it can be a bit of it. That is the fastest way to brand suicide. Because it's not building, brands are built with a beating heart. strong brands build strong predisposition because they build meaning, they build difference, and they build salience. Stunts build salience, but they lack meaning and differentiation, potentially. That's always a watch out. So over the long term, if that's the only strategy you've got, the only thing you do, you get your salience, and that gets you so far, but ultimately it's not sustainable in terms of growing your business. So it needs to be rounded out with other activities too. And the challenge, of course, is if you haven't got the budget to do that. But I would sort of say, if I look at the evidence, the most successful brands don't get stuck in one rut. They sort of round themselves out. They have a beating heart. And if I look at bigger brands, admittedly from Gymbox, like Guinness or Cadbury's or McDonald's, and they're all brands with very strong attention. Sometimes they incorporate stunts, but they also do other things, a lot of other things too. So my advice would be careful, or at least if you do go down the stunt-based route, make sure it's differentiating your brand and building meaningful brand associations rather than just getting attention for attention's sake, because otherwise it's just empty. You're a hollow brand.
Rory, from your obviously, have you got anything to add to that, because that kind of taps into exactly what where your space is. But also from your perspective, what are the dangers that you think in going for that sort of stunt approach? It worked really well for you, and you saw some really strong results from it. But obviously, not all brands can play with the same hand.
No, I guess they can, but I think Dom's right in one sense. So while we are very renowned for our stunts and we get a lot of coverage from it, we also don't neglect brand building. So, we have our, I'd almost argue that the stunts are a little sprinkling on top of your brand to kind of get you relevant or be topical at certain times of the year, from my perspective. But actually what we do very much at Gymbox, and what I recommend most brands do, is look at your whole brand throughout the year. So we launched at the beginning of the year our kind of campaign or our brand work, which was Made for London Life. So our Made for London Life campaign was all about how Londoners play hard, work hard. They like to go out and party, but they still come to the gym. And we had some great lines, wings at 2 a.m., legs at 11, sitting at 1 a.m., spinning at 1 p.m. So it was all about building the brand constantly. And we have all our marketing channels. So we have a little bit of out-of-home budget. We don't have TV ads. We've got a little bit of budget for out-of-home. We do a lot of fly posting because it's a little cheaper, a little bit more kind of proximity marketing. We stencil. So all our marketing channels layer up to almost our kind of brand, tagline, which I like to say is that anything goes. We're the gym where anything goes. So we're constantly building that brand. That is the kind of sign off for everything we do. But then what we do is we add these stunts throughout the year. So you mentioned earlier on the Google adverts we did where we targeted competitors, where people would search for third space or class pass, and we would serve them up an advert. They're little stunts that add to the brand, add to the stuff that we're doing on a day-to-day basis. So it doesn't feel, as this kind of salient point, it isn't just a flash in the pan and then we go away. And I think to answer your other question, some brands, just do stunt, and lack that brand building. I look at, I can't remember if anyone, I'm showing my age now, but Thursday, the dating app years ago, were brilliant at these stunts. So they would always have, I think it started, one of these founder-led businesses where you had a girl with a cardboard sign saying single, ask me for something. And they used to be all over social media doing these stunts. I don't see them anymore. Now, that's probably because I'm, married and have a child. But
wrong demographic.
Yeah, wrong demographic. But I think the point is, I think they were great at getting these little kind of quick stunts, and they go. I think you're seeing a little bit now with, I never call out brands, but I love Surreal. Their marketing's brilliant. But again, really good at stunts. They have their template. Are they building the brand underneath all that? And that's the question. That's what you need to be doing.
Do you think they are?
No.
I've got a thing. We're going to try this. This could go horribly wrong. Are you guys up for doing an interactive, a bit of an audience response thing? Because we're all sitting here doing a weird thing with headphones.
No, because to us you're silent.
Super weird, isn't it? Super weird. It's weird for me. Okay, are you with me on this? Okay, I've got some nods. Okay, nods is good.
Yeah.
Okay, I want everyone to stand up.
Us too.
You don't know what's going on, do you? It's great. We haven't rehearsed this or anything. Okay,
Tom's throwing this in.
I want you to do a bit of Bon Jovi. Come on. Wave with me. Yeah. Okay, we've got everyone's attention. Have we got everyone's attention? Okay, let's do it. Have we got everyone's attention? Yeah. Okay, have you just built your brand? Is that the association you want of your brand? No. Okay, you can sit down now. The point is, anyone can do something silly, but if it's not building the association you want of you or of this experience, then what's the point? What's the point? The value is of a brand is built on many more things than that. So sure, you got everyone's attention, but it's the right kind of attention.
So what advice would you have for people then, if they're looking to do that sort of thing? Because as Rory mentioned, it's a really cost-effective way of doing things, and if you're a challenger brand, it fits with your style, then it makes sense. So how can brands make sure they're not devaluing themselves by not bringing in that brand building at the beginning?
Yeah, look, I think attention has its role to play. And we have to say that, partly because we're on the attention stage. But you have to have quality of attention. So by which I mean stuff that builds meaningful, emotional cues that are relevant to your brand. You know what your brand's about. Anything goes, right? That's what you
Yeah.
Right? So focus on quality, not just quantity, is the first thing. I think the other thing is just don't fall into the abyss. So this is the digital abyss. So Karen Nelson Field has highlighted that to build brand memories takes more than 2.5 seconds of something before it connects in your brain emotionally. So that's like an emotional threshold, if you like. And the challenge is that 85% of digital doesn't meet that. So there's a real danger there. Now, of course, there are different formats within digital. So it's important, it's not like we can't just lump digital together. It's so much more diverse. But at the same time, that's dangerous, right? So there's a real danger of focusing only on attention first in a digitally based economy. And a lot of that isn't meeting what I call the minimum criteria for being successful in building your brand. So that's a real watch out, especially if you're designing digital first, make sure you're focusing on sort of the quality of attention and designing for the formats that deliver you that. What we see at Kantar is that if you do that, you will build, if you use digital well, it's very effective at building your brand differentiation. That's what our data shows. It's actually more effective than some other channels, actually. So I would just say, be careful. Don't fall into the digital abyss, and don't design for attention only, because it's only one part of what makes a successful brand.
Thank you. Okay, we've got literally 1 minute left, and I can see we're being summoned up from the side. So with that in mind, I'll ask you each to give your final thoughts. And what I want from you guys is an example, not Gymbox, so someone else who does attention well, and that means both the brand building side of things and stunt marketing. So actually, it's going to be someone who layers both of those things up.
Oh God,
so, Rory.
the pressure. Liquid Death do a great job.
They do.
But no, they do. I think you see their videos and you see the viral videos they do, but it's all built on the brand. Every touch point is true to their brand. Murder your thirst, ditch plastic bottles, sell your soul. You sign up to their newsletter. It's all layered.
But they spend a lot of money as well, don't they?
They do. They spend a lot of money, and they build in that brand.
That too, yeah.
Even I got an empty cart the other day where I didn't check out, and you get an email saying, "Are you dead?" So it all links back to their brands. So all their little small touch points build up and layer. So my tip is, make sure you can do stunts, but make sure it's layered on a strategic platform and an idea, and it's true to your brand. And don't just do it because it's a fun idea. How do you link it back to your brand?
Perfect, thank you. And Dom?
God, it's hard to beat Liquid Death. It's like,
you can say Gymbox.
Yeah, exactly. Very good. I would sort of say McDonald's and what they're doing with eyebrows in that campaign, right? Which is much more of a classic campaign. I say that partly because it's off the chart in terms of its effectiveness, in terms of what we should see in Kantar Link when we test it, but also because it's a brand that's built its brand value by value. It's 6 times more valuable as a brand than it was in 2008, and it's done that through focusing on the fundamentals. What is their brand about? How do you bring it to life? How do you use communications in a super powerful way? And what's not to love a little bit of eyebrow action? Just to,
I think that's perfect to end on. Thanks, Dom. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.